Ever wondered why two kids in the same class behave completely different? One super curious, the other's super shy. The answer lies in child psychology. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today let's break down the meaning of child psychology in really simple way. Childhood is a very important stage of life because it is during this time that the foundation of future life is built. A child learns basic habits, develops emotions, and forms personality during this period. That is why child psychology focuses not only on the physical growth but also on mental, emotional, and social development. Now, let us understand the key ideas of child psychology. First, childhood is the period from birth to early adolescence. This stage is very important because it is the time when a child grows and develops in many ways. Child psychology does not focus on just one aspect of growth. It includes the physical, mental, and emotional development. Physical development means the growth of the body, like height, weight, and motor skills. Mental development includes thinking, learning, and problem solving abilities. Emotional development is about feelings, expressions, and how a child understands the emotions. Another important idea is that the foundation of adult life is built during the childhood. Whatever a child learns, experiences, and feels during this stage shapes their personality in the future. Good habits, values, and confidence all begin in childhood. Finally, child psychology studies development in real life situations. It does not depend on the theories but focuses on how the children behave in the daily life, like at home, school, or in the society. Now, let us move to the definition of child psychology. It can be defined as a scientific study of a child's behavior in relation to their environment. It studies how children behave in different situations and how the factors like family, school, and society influence them. According to the expert Crow and Crow, child psychology studies the child from early beginnings to adolescence and it treats each child as a unique individual. This means that no two children are exactly the same and each one has a different abilities, interests, and needs. Under child psychology, the first point is study in the context of environment. A child's behavior is greatly influenced by their surroundings. For example, a child growing up in a supportive family will behave differently from a child in a stressful environment. Therefore, understanding the environment helps us understand the child better. Similarly, the school environment also matters. A friendly and encouraging teacher can motivate a child to learn, while a strict or unsupportive environment may reduce interest in studies. Even friends and society influence habits, language, and behavior. Children often learn by observing and imitating others around them. Therefore, to truly understand a child, we must understand the environment in which they are growing. This helps parents and teachers guide the child in a better and more effective way. The second point is the study of individual. Every child is unique and no two children are exactly same. As I said before, each child differs in intelligence, learning ability, interest, personality, and behavior. Some children learn quickly, while others need more time and practice. Some are very active and outgoing, while others may be quiet and reserved. These differences are called individual differences, and they are very important in child psychology. Because of these differences, children do not respond in the same way to teaching methods or situations. For example, one child may understand a concept just by listening, while the another may need visual aids or practical examples. Similarly, some children may be confident in speaking, while others may feel shy and need encouragement. That is why teachers should not treat all the children in the same way. They must understand each child's strengths and weaknesses and adjust their teaching methods according to it. By recognizing these individual differences, teachers can provide proper guidance, support, and motivation, which helps every child grow and develop to their full potential. The main focus of child psychology is on the stage of childhood, which is from birth to early adolescence. This stage is very important because it is a period of rapid growth and development in all areas, that is physical, mental, emotional, and social. Children are studied as a separate group because their thinking, understanding, and behavior are very different from adults. For example, children are more curious, imaginative, and sensitive. They learn mainly through play, observation, and experience, rather than logical reasoning like adults. Also, children cannot always express their thoughts and feelings clearly, so their behavior becomes an important way to understand them. Their needs, interests, and problems are also different at each stage of development. That is why child psychology gives special attention to children, helping teachers and parents understand how they grow, learn, and behave at different stages. By studying children separately, we can provide better care, guidance, and education according to their development needs. Study of behavior. Behavior refers to how a child responds to different situations or stimuli. It is the way a child acts, reacts, and expresses themselves in a daily life. Behavior includes both external actions and internal process. External actions are those which we can easily observe, such as speaking, playing, writing, or interacting with others. Internal process includes thinking, feelings, emotions, and attitudes, which are not directly visible but strongly influence the actions. For example, if a child feels happy and secure, they may behave confidently and actively participate in activities. On the other hand, if a child feels anxious or ignored, they may become quiet, withdrawn, or even show aggressive behavior. By understanding the behavior, teachers and parents can provide the right guidance, support, and encouragement. This helps in correcting the negative behavior and promoting the positive habits in children. Child psychology is also called as a positive science, which means that it is based on facts, observation, and real experiences. It studies what actually happens in the real life, not what should ideally happen. It focuses on understanding real behavior rather than judging it. According to Watson, child psychology came into being from the scientific study of child. Another important point is that child psychology does not judge child's behavior as right or wrong. Instead, it focuses on understanding the reasons behind the behavior. For instance, if a child is showing anger or disobedience, child psychology tries to find a cause, such as emotional stress, lack of attention, or environmental factors. It also uses scientific methods like observation, case studies, and experiments to collect the accurate information about children. Because of this approach, child psychology helps teachers and parents make practical and effective decisions based on real facts and rather than guesses. Let's move on to the scope of child psychology. Here are the following aspects of child psychology that are based on subject matters. Those are stages of growth and maturation, environmental influences, interaction between the child and members of society, mental processes of child, individual differences between children. Let us move forward. Stages of growth and maturation. Growth starts from the child within the womb, and therefore the psychology takes into account the experiences of prenatal conditions also. Development in the prenatal condition passes through three phases. The stage of conception, which lasts from the moment of conception till 2 weeks later. The stage of immature embryo, which covers the period from the 3rd to 18th week, and third stage of the mature embryo, which continues up to the time of birth. Two kinds of growth or development can be seen during the prenatal stage, that is, motor and sensory development. Between the time of birth and attainment of adolescence, the human animal passes through the stages of infancy and childhood. Between the ages of 12 and 18, boys and girls are adolescents. In each stage, development can be studied in its five aspects, that is, physical, mental, emotional, moral, and social aspects. In infancy, childhood, and adolescence, the first 3 years are believed to be the time of growth and the later three period of maturation. Child psychology studies each one of these for growth and development. Environmental influences upon development. The child's behavior, personality, and growth rate are affected due to the environmental influences. The environmental influences are categorized as family influence, neighborhood influence, school environment, Influence of cultural environment also. In the family influence, the parents' attitudes, values, and habits shape the child's thinking and behavior. If there is an emotional support and guidance, this helps in building the confidence and mental stability. Neighborhood influence, peer group and community culture affect social skills and imagination. Also, safety, resources, and opportunities in the neighborhood impact learning. School environment. In the school environment, there is a teacher's behavior, curriculum, methods of teaching, and administration and discipline. Influence of cultural environment is made up of ideas and objectives and values. A child is always influenced whether at home, in school, or in neighborhood. Social interaction is the interaction between the child and the members of the society. A child necessarily spends some part of his life in the family or the neighborhood, the playground, and the college. Any development that undergoes in one or all these situations is the result of neighbors, other children on the playgrounds, or his colleagues or teachers. Such interactions are psychological and social. Social interactions are either conjunctive or disjunctive. Example of conjunctive social interactions are cooperation, accommodation, and social integration. Conflicts, competition, and contravention, etc., are the example of disjunction interaction. All the social interactions have psychological consequences, and for that reason, each one of them is important for the child since it influences some or the other aspect of his personality. Mental process of the child. While child psychology was itself in infancy, it was discovered that the mental process of the child varied somewhat from their adult equivalents. Child psychology makes a minute study of child perception, memory, thinking, and imagination, learning, and association, personality, and other mental functions. The influence of the environment upon them and the individual differences generated thereby. Individual differences. If you have 30 kids in a class, you don't have one classroom. You have 30 different worlds. That's what individual differences are all about. Every child has unique differences. No two children are the same, even if they are from the same family or same age group. These differences show up in four main areas. First, intelligence. Second, personality. Third, abilities. Fourth, interest. Intelligence. Some kids grasp math quickly, others are brilliant with words or music. Personality. One child might be outgoing and chatty, other might be quiet and observant. Abilities. Some run fast, some draw beautifully, some solve puzzles easily. Every child has a strength. Interest. One loves dinosaurs, another loves dancing. Their curiosity is never the same. But where do these differences come from? Yes, they are influenced by three factors, that is, family background, culture, and economic conditions. A child's environment shapes how they think and grow. So, as teachers and parents, our job isn't to compare children. Our job is to understand each child's unique blueprint and help them grow from there. So, as teachers and parents, share one example in the comments. Importance of child psychology. Why do some teaching methods work like magic for one child but fail for another? The secret is understanding child psychology. Child psychology helps teachers understand the students better. We get to know their real needs, interests, and abilities. Because of this, we can focus on individual difference instead of teaching everyone the same way. Second, it improves our teaching methods. It pushes us toward scientific and child centered learning. That's why methods like Montessori and kindergarten focus on activity based learning. Children learn by doing, not just by listening. And the biggest benefit, it helps in making learning easy, interesting, and effective. When we teach this way, a child's brain naturally learns. Education stops being a burden and starts being fun. So, child psychology isn't just theory for textbooks, it's a practical tool that makes us better teachers and helps every child succeed. Now, let us see the child psychology role in education. A good teacher doesn't just teach subjects. A good teacher understands children, and that's what exactly where child psychology plays a big role in education. First, it improves our curriculum. When we know child psychology, we add games, camps, and co-curricular activities. Learning becomes more than test textbooks. It helps in evaluation and testing. We stop judging a child by just marks. We start checking real progress. How are they thinking? How are they growing? By asking these questions. Third, it assists in solving classroom problems. Behavior issues, learning difficulties, we handle them with understanding, not punishment. That's why it helps maintain discipline using psychological methods, not forcing. It builds the better relationship between the teacher and student. Like when a child feels understood, they trust you, and trust is the base of all learning. It also encourages research and innovation in education. Teachers start asking, how can I teach this better? That's how new, effective methods are born. So, the child psychology isn't extra work for teachers. It's a smart way to make education work. Which of these points do you see in your school? Comment below. Here are the different methods of studying child psychology that can be scientific, systematic, or objective. The main methods include the naturalistic observation, child biographies and autobiographies, comparison method, psychophysical studies, statistical methods, interview method, psychometric method, rating scales, questionnaires and checklists, case study or clinical methods, projective techniques, experimental methods, psychoanalytic technique, and genetic method that is in longitudinal and cross-sectional studies. Let's wrap this up with one simple truth from this slide. This is a beautiful quote. Children are like wet cement. Whatever falls on them makes an impression. Think about that. Every word we say, every action we take, every rule we make leaves a mark on a child's mind. And once that impression is set, it stays for life. That's why we studied child psychology in this series, because it helps us better understand children and guide their development in the right way. Whether you are a teacher or a parent, this knowledge is your superpower. It's what helps us raise children who grow into confident and successful individuals. So let's be careful with the impressions we make. Let's choose patience over punishment, understanding over anger, and guidance over control. If this series on child psychology helped you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Share it with a parent or a teacher who needs to hear this. And thank you from me and from every child whose life you will touch with this knowledge.